How's it going, everybody? It's CloaknDaggerish here, and today I'm going to give you my first impressions on Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. This is a game that a lot of people have been super excited for because it's been a real long time since we've gotten a single-player Star Wars game. In the last 10 years, we've only gotten 3 new Star Wars games, counting this one, the other 2 being Star Wars Battlefront 1 and Star Wars Battlefront 2. So I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I wasn't planning on buying this game right away. I was actually gonna wait until like Black Friday or a little bit after and wait to see if the prices come down on it. But my wife was nice enough to surprise me with it the other day when she went out shopping. So I decided, hey, you know what, let's play it, and I'm going to make a video on it and kind of tell you what my thoughts are and see if the game really lived up to the hype and everybody's expectations. And I just want to quickly tell everybody that this video is not a paid sponsorship. I'm doing this on my own accord, and that I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I'm going to tell you what I thought was good, what I thought was bad, my overall thoughts on the game. So if you're looking for somebody who's only going to give you, a good review and tell you only good stuff or tell you only bad stuff, this isn't the review for you. I'm going to give you a nice balance, good and bad, what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it, and not really hold anything back, because why should I? I want to give you a good first impressions video. So let's get started here. So for me, the game actually started out kind of rough, and there was points where I almost stopped playing the game completely, but I kind of kept pushing through it, and it got a whole lot better, and it really started getting a lot of fun. The first thing that I really noticed that bothered me was the graphics aren't optimized for first gen consoles. I'm playing on an Xbox One, day one edition. I don't have an Xbox One S or an Xbox One X. So a lot of the graphics took either a long time to load, they got washed out, they just looked unfinished, and it was very distracting from the game. I had a lot of frame lag, and it would get real blurry and choppy, and especially in the combat, that made it really difficult to play and very unenjoyable experience for me. There is an upside though. I dug around in the settings a little bit, and I turned off things like motion blur, and I adjusted a few other things, and that really smoothed out the game. And I still experienced some issues with the graphics, but it wasn't so blaringly obvious, and it made the game so much better for me. I'm glad that I looked around and kind of figured that out. So if you are planning on playing this game on either basic PS4 or the basic Xbox, play around with the graphics settings, and you can kind of optimize it for your system and get it to play a lot better, at least where it doesn't feel completely broken. I'm hoping that maybe in the future they'll patch it and maybe readjust some things so that it plays a little bit smoother on some of the older consoles. So I'm only a couple hours into the game, and that's why this is a first impressions video and not a full review, but that'll be coming later once I finally finish the game. But anyways, the beginning of the game, the combat does feel kind of clunky, and fighting multiple enemies at once can be pretty overwhelming just because you don't have a lot of options to deal with crowd control or to break the enemies apart. You can basically block and parry, and that's about it. Or you can dodge. And you don't have any abilities that you can block and then counter, or parry then counter, because as soon as you parry, the other enemies come in and attack you, and they have a habit of clustering together, and there's no way to really break them up. So fighting multiple enemies is pretty frustrating. Once you progress farther into the game, it becomes a lot more fun because you have a lot more options. You get different options for your lightsaber that make it better for dealing with multiple adversaries, as well as different force powers that you can use to kind of split them up and then single them out one by one and fight them that way. And it makes it so much easier and a whole lot more enjoyable, and it's really neat with the different powers that you get as you progress through the game. And the only other thing that I noticed that I really didn't like about the game, or that I felt that it was missing, was they could really implement a fast travel system, because every time you leave your ship and you travel around the planet, you have to walk all the way back. Yeah, they do put some shortcuts in there to make it go a little bit faster, but if you forget something, it is kind of a hassle to have to run through the whole map again to maybe get there. or once you've kind of completed everything, you have to walk all the way back to your ship, which is kind of annoying and can be kind of boring, especially if you haven't meditated and reset all the enemies. Then there's just nothing for you to do, and there's no side quests or anything really, unless you're lucky and maybe you found something that you missed on your way in that you might have picked up on your way out. But other than that, you know, a fast travel system would be pretty nice to have in the game as well. Alright, I'll stop hating on the game for a little bit here. Let me talk about the things that I really loved about the game. And there are a lot of things that I enjoy about this game. For one, it's a single-player Star Wars game. We haven't had a single-player Star Wars game in over a decade. The last one was The Force Unleashed 2, I believe, was the last one. So it's a niche that's really been left unfulfilled. And overall, they did a pretty good job with it. Once you get past the initial 2 planets is when the game really, for me, started to pick up. The combat got better. The story really started to pick up. You get a little bit more invested in the characters, and you really start to care what's going on. And what's really unique about this game is the way they kind of designed it. They gave it a combat system, what a lot of people compare to like Dark Souls, which is kind of interesting, but then they combined it with kind of a platformer game like Uncharted or the Tomb Raider games, where it's not open world, but you kind of have these different paths that you can run down and explore that are filled with different puzzles for you to figure out so that you can get to the new areas. And the puzzles, I think, are pretty well done. I'm having a lot of fun. Some of them are actually pretty challenging, and I'm looking forward to see what else they throw at me in the future. It's also got pretty good customization in the game. I'm not going to say that I love the customization, or at least all the aspects of it, and I don't really hate it either, because they did do some stuff very well, whereas other stuff, they kind of missed the mark on it. What they did really well is the lightsaber customization. There are tons of options. You're constantly unlocking new parts for it. You can tweak it and really make it your own. I'm really enjoying that. Where it kind of fell short in the customization, one, you can change the color of your ship, which is kind of pointless in my opinion, because you don't fly the ship, and the only time you really see the outside of it is at the docking areas when you arrive and when you're leaving the planet, and that's about it. So that probably wasn't really necessary. Granted, I mean, it's nice to have the option, but does it change the game a whole lot? Well, not really. The other things that you can change are DB1. You can change his colors, and they got some pretty good options for him. I found some that I really liked, and you see him all the time because he's on the back of Cal, which you're looking at constantly. So it's nice to be able to change his colors once in a while and just give it a fresh spin every once in a while. You can also change some stuff on Cal, and this is kind of somewhere in the middle. Because he's got a poncho, you can change to the color of that. There's some okay options for that. I personally don't really like the look of the poncho, so you can also remove it, which is what I've been doing. And then you can change the color of the tunic a little bit, and there's a couple of options for that. There's nothing too crazy. But the customizations for Cal aren't super detailed outside of the poncho and the tunic. So it would be maybe kind of nice to see some different options for him. Maybe give him some robes, or I don't know, it'd be cool if he could get like some armor or something. Overall, it's not bad, but it's not great. The high point is the lightsaber, and probably the low point is being able to customize the mantis. Now, while I'm talking about the customization, I just thought of my wife happened to buy me the deluxe edition, and if you're wondering, is it worth the extra $10? Well, here's what's in the deluxe edition. The deluxe edition includes one skin for DB1. It's a crimson, and it looks good. All right, so you get that. You get a paint job for the Mantis, the ship that you fly on. It's also a crimson colored paint job. It looks all right. Again, you don't see the ship a whole lot. And that's it for skins. That's it for in-game content. Two skins. Count them. 1, 2. So Everything else that they include the game, they also include an art book, digital art book, and 90 plus minutes of behind the scenes footage. But as far as stuff that's actually going to be in the game itself that you're going to see while you're playing it is just those 2 skins. So unless you're a diehard Star Wars fan or a collector, I don't really see it being necessary to pick up the deluxe edition. Save yourself the $10 and just get the standard one. Those are my opinions. Take it or leave it. Overall, I'm really enjoying this game so far, even though I'm only a couple hours into the game. I'm really excited to see where the story is going to go. I'm looking forward to some of the puzzles and to see how the combat evolves as the game continues. I'm not going to give it a review yet, because I'm going to do a more in-depth review once I finish the game. But do I feel that you need to rush out and buy this game right now? Probably not. I would say unless you're a diehard Star Wars fan, maybe wait until it goes on sale, pick it up a little bit cheaper, and that would probably be the way to go. If they would fix some of the issues, I think that would really help the game and boost the rating on it a little bit. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, guys. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy it, give it a thumbs down. And tell me why down in the comments why you thought that way. Or if you got any questions, feel free to drop them down there as well. I do read all the comments and I usually respond to them as well. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my future content. I plan on making lots of Star Wars based video game content, whether it be Jedi Fallen Order or Star Wars Battlefront or anything else that might come out onto the market. I'm probably going to at least do a first impressions video or a review video on it, as well as maybe some gameplay or tips and tricks, things like that. Anyways, thank you once again for watching, and until next time, you have a good one.